Hi, in today's episode, we are going to discuss the whole phenomenon of cis woman and how, as heterosexual women, we are beginning to feel attacked. We are beginning to feel offended. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello, everyone. You're listening to All Cards on the Table podcast with Claire and Sylvia, a show that talks about how men and women aren't so different from each other. We just don't speak the same language. We will dissect every topic and put an end to miscommunication. So, get ready to get uncomfortable. Hi and welcome back. Claire Attio here.
Hi everyone, this is Sylvia Jaira.
And as I said in the introduction, we're going to talk about this whole phenomenon that's kind of coming up of cis women. And I know this is it's a very politically emotive topic. It is one that is trending at the moment because there are so many aspects to bring into it. And Sylvia and I just felt that we needed to kind of, as heterosexual women, that we're beginning to feel like a minority here, which I know is not true, but it's beginning to feel like that. We wanted to really discuss our perceptions, our feelings about this. And if anybody has been following our podcast, you will know that we do not harbor any homophobic issues, concerns. We have been very free thinking. We are very open. We aspire to learn and to disseminate that information. But I have to say, when this term kind of came on my spectrum, it kind of pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it is. I'm a woman and I have the right to be called a woman, and I find it very disrespectful to be called anything other but a woman.
Yeah. Nothing added to it. No other adjectives or verbs added to the word woman, I think. And I feel the same way. I do remember.
We can't be the only ones out there, which is why we're doing this podcast today.
I think that, well, first off, how I feel when I first heard the word cis woman, I was like, what is that? And I had to look it up because I was just like, cis woman, what's it? And they were referring to me, and so I'm like, what? I'm not, I didn't even identify as that, but now I have a label on me that I didn't even knew or even I chose. Mm-hmm. And the more I heard it, it was the fact that every time I heard it, there was something in me just crunching and dying a little bit, because I was like, why am I being referred to as a cis woman? I'm just a woman. And I really got at one point upset that I was being or someone demanded me to address them by their proper pronouns, because my daughter was like, "Mommy, if you don't know, you have to say they them." And I said, absolutely. And then I made a mistake of calling someone him, and I was corrected, and I was like, yeah, that was my fault, I'm sorry. And then when I was called cis woman, I was like, yeah, I don't like that term. Like, but that's what you are. And I was like, wait a second. Why is it okay for me I have to properly address you, which I will, because that's how you identify, and I will. But when I've told you how I identify, just pure woman, that's not okay with you. Why do I have to now be cis woman? Mm-hmm. And I personally, I don't like it. I don't like to be called cis woman. I'm just a woman.
Yeah. And I think we've worked so hard I'll tell you what was coming up for me, okay, is and before I actually say what I'm going to say, because there will be haters listening to this, I'm sure, I hold a lot of compassion for transgender community.
Absolutely.
I think everybody has the right to choose their identity. Everybody has the right to live their life as they see fit and as they see comfortable and is aligned to them on an energetic, spiritual level.
Yeah, absolutely. I
But
agree.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that I have major, major concerns over the diminishment of the divine feminine after we've all worked so hard to bring about the equality and remove ourselves from the patriarchate matrix. And that is not coming from a place of fear. This is coming from a place of concern. We are women.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that or should be trying to take that away from us. The same as nobody should be trying to take away the fact that anybody else wants to identify as anything else. That is your right. Please do not take away our right.
Exactly. It is getting for me, I feel like it's getting way out of hand. There's jokes about it now. Everyone's joking about how people identify, and instead of being something that we could have progressed as humanity, where we accepted everyone as they're making a mockery out of it. So I personally, if you are identifying as a man or a woman, I will address you as the way you want.
Yeah.
And that's it. But also, if a woman or a biological woman, and even the fact that we have to say biological woman, to me is like absurd, because I never in a million years thought that I would be here saying, hi, I'm a biological woman, or I'm a cis woman. It was just never even.
Or there is a certain level of ridiculousness to it.
There is. And I wish we could just hold a place where, first of all, we already have as a woman so many attacks, or being attacked through so many different outlets, by the patriarchy, by like you said, by even within us, as well. And that part, for me as well, I don't think that it's okay for other women to attack women. I mean, that is like the lowest of lows. And that's what they put us against each other. And now we bring another one in. It's kind of like, when are we going to get a break?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, we were constantly having to prove ourselves that we're just as good. We have to do everything plus some. We can't overreact. We can't underreact. We're kind of constantly having to adjust ourselves just so we can have a platform to be taken seriously.
Well, I'm going to be honest, that
creator, Dylan Mulvaney.
Right. I seen one clip on TikTok, and what got me was the piss taking, basically, of what being a woman is about. We have spent years and years, hundreds of years, trying to diminish this image that we are the weaker sex, that we are the fragile, that we are wallflowers, and we just need to look pretty and joyful and and giggly. And I find it, I'm just like, kind of, it's driving me nuts. I'm going to be honest. It is driving me nuts, because we have spent generations and generations and generations. Are we different from the masculine, from the male? Yes, we are. We reproduce. Do we have different qualities? Yes, we do. Does that mean because our qualities are different that we're weaker, that we have less intelligence? No, it doesn't. And we have been working to bring this up to an equal level, that we are shown the value and respect that we deserve, just for it all to come tumbling down because of another sector of people that identify differently and I'll hold space for them. I have no problem with holding a compassionate, loving, equal space for transgender people. But please don't diminish the work that we've done as the divine feminine. Please do not take that away from us. Please do not buy into the patriarchal niggling in. It's just a different way of pulling us down. And the problem that I'm seeing at the moment is women are once again being pitted against women because of such topics. And that's horrific, because that is what has been done century after century after century. And we've done it between ourselves in the act of survival. And we were just moving out of this survival. We need to keep moving out of this survival.
Yeah, I'm just thinking right now what you're saying is that with everything that's going on, not to get too much into sports, but also I guess what I'm trying to say is that we women understand how hard it is to be transgender, especially transgender women, because it is, you see more attacks on transgender women than there are transgender men. We understand that. But I feel like, okay, I'm taking you, like I'm accepting you, and I put my trust in you, and then I feel like I turn around and you're making a mockery out of me. And that's how I felt when I saw her post.
Yeah.
Jumping around and thinking, ha ha ha. And the first thought that came through my mind was Serena Williams on the tennis court when she lost and she threw it back. And then everybody just went crazy because, oh, she's so hot-headed, dramatic, everything. She couldn't even be allowed to express any emotions, how she felt. And she was immediately attacked. And we all know how hardworking women are in sports, and how Nike has always, all the commercials have always portrayed our women working hard and exercising or doing their sports and training really hard, never giving up, just do it. That's their logo, just get up and do it. But if we had a woman, like for instance, at one of the athletes, to act that way, the way Dylan did it,
yeah,
could you imagine how that would have been taken?
Oh, and they would have been stripped to pieces.
And to me, it was just like, I followed her from the beginning, from day one. And I was so happy. She's very bubbly. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what we need. And I love her. I love her energy. And the fact that she was talking about tampons and that she buys them for other women because she went to the bathroom and someone asked her. And I was like, that's fantastic. I really love that energy that you're thinking of us. And then she did that. And I was just like, okay. He went from being one of us to mocking us, like the patriarchy or the men have done for years.
And it makes you wonder how much of that was her and how much that was instigated for her to be able to get the deal. I mean, let's be honest, we all know that when you've got these deals and when you sign these contracts, there's a lot of small print in there. Yeah. And if you're not familiar with that, then it's very easy to sell out without even knowing that you're selling out.
Yeah.
And so that begs the question, is the problem with her, or is the problem that the patriarchy are using the transgender community to undermine the divine feminine?
Oh, I absolutely blame Nike for this, not once her. But I felt like saddened that
you would,
she did that. A little.
I don't know about you, but I felt betrayed.
Yeah, betrayed. Exactly. Yeah. And so I know that she's a lovely person, and I absolutely believe this is all Nike, and that's what I'm saying, this is all Nike because Nike is the one that's behind this and has pushed the idea or the ideology that women are just as hardworking and we have to be even tougher than men to be where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
And sold us this idea that that we were just hardworking, which we are, I mean, but that we were equal to the men. And then they were okay promoting it that way. Like, whoever's in the marketing department of Nike, like, how did you not see this as a red flag for women?
Oh, I'm under no illusions that came from much higher up than the marketing. That came from much higher up. That was an order that came up because we have been making strides. We have been making the last 10 years, the last 5 years, as women, we have been making massive shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is being perceived as a threat. It's still being perceived as a threat rather than being perceived as, wow, what magic can we weave as united? But of course, it's the old proverb of divide and conquer. The few elite want to continue this division.
Yeah.
Because they stand to gain from it. And if nothing else comes out of this podcast, but you sit and you take ownership of what you're feeling, why you're feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're transgender, please, we respect you. We know you're having a hard time. We know you are such a minority group.
Mm-hmm.
But as women, we may not be minority in numbers, but we have been treated like the minority for centuries. Please be respectful of that. Please be respectful of what we're trying to do. Let's help each other because nobody should be in a minority. Numbers are just numbers. They only matter if we allow them to, if we give them focus, if we give them energy. Let's bring each other up. Let's bring everybody, the divine masculine as well, because they are suffering at the moment. I mean,
I think we're all suffering, but just different ways.
Demanding, they're feeling a lot of displacement, and so let's just hold space for each other. Let's just show kindness and consideration and respect.
Yeah.
Rather than fighting each other, fighting for the spotlight, fighting for that one place, fighting for it's not necessary.
Yeah, well, I think they feel unheard, so they pick on terms and ideas just to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we see them,
mm-hmm.
and we try to, in our podcast, bring, like you said, more awareness. We actually had a interview with a transgender man and learned a lot, and for me it was very rewarding and I learned so much more. And I was like, finally we're probably going to get to a place where we're very respectful of each other, we hold spaces for each other. And fast forward a couple of months and we're here. And I'm just like, what happened?
It's interesting, isn't it, how even when you don't, because I try and stay off of mainstream media, but even I can't. Actually, I was with a parent of a transgender last week, and I asked her, why is it there has to be a month for the LGBT community? Why do they have to have a whole month? What is all that about? Because to be honest, somewhere along the line, obviously some of that energy, that negative energy has permeated me, has kind of brought something, because I'm kind of like, well, women don't get a month, men don't get a month. What's going on here? You know, a month of celebration and joy. And I said to her, you know, I want to understand this better, because there's a little bit of me that is niggly. There's a little bit of me that and I'm not going to deny it, whether it's right or wrong. It's what I'm feeling, and I think we need to start really owning what we feel and then trying to learn to understand why we're feeling it. And so I asked her, why do they need a month of celebrations, of partying? And it was a really interesting response, and not one that I had actually taken on board. And she actually said that for a lot of people within these communities, that is the only time of year that they have contact with other members, that they have joy and laughter and are able to be themselves. And that horrified me. And that's the reality. And these are the subjects that we're not talking about. These are the subjects that need to be talked about, not the subjects that bring us up. That Dylan, she, whatever her intentions, whatever went on there, whatever created that issue, the focus has gone to that. It's made women, biological women, uncomfortable. It's made them angry. It's made them review the love, care, and attention and compassion that they want to be able to provide and hold a space for the community, the LGBT community. And yet our focus needs to be on the fact that there are a lot of people in that community that need our compassion, that need our love, that need us to hold space. They shouldn't have to be in hiding. We are in 2023, for crying out loud. I was born in the late 60s, so we went through the 80s with the queer bashing and bringing that out into and stopping that and legalizing and this whole making people feel ashamed for who they are. What the hell are we doing? We're just swapping from one to another to another. Our focus needs to be on supporting these people, but their focus needs to be on getting the help that is needed to stand in their power without diminishing us as well.
Yeah. Or fracturing the relationships that we've had. Yeah. Because I think that's what it's doing now. It's you've had such a supporting group behind this community, and all of a sudden I've noticed that other women as well, and it's not just me, has taken it back and said, no, I'm not going to be a part of that anymore. There was this one anchor news person who came out and she said, I am a woman, don't call me cis. And she went on rattling about how she doesn't feel that she has to respect them anymore. And I think we've always been so scared not to offend someone. But at one point we need to stand up for ourselves and stand up for how we feel. Like we said, like, I personally don't like to be called that.
No.
And I respect how you want to be called. And I want that respect to be mutual. But you have to admit that now there's fractureness in this relationship because we feel a little bit betrayed. And it wasn't probably done with intention, but nonetheless, to me, it's we are walking in eggshells to make sure constantly we're doing everything to make you feel comfortable, to make them feel that they belong, because they do, but we don't want to.
Well,
we're still programmed.
It stems from the fact that we've never felt that we've belonged. I mean, unless you go all the way back to Atlantis and Palladium, and we've spent our whole lives having to learn to belong, having to work really, really hard to have that sense of belonging. And so we understand it. And so we are inclusive, or the majority of us are inclusive. The majority of us are innately hold compassion.
Yeah.
And we're asking those of you in the LGBT community to have that same compassion for us. We know that you're fighting, we know that you're struggling, but please do not buy into, everybody be conscious of what is going on in the patriarchic matrix to create a fracture.
Mm-hmm.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I have nothing else to add to that, because like you said, it's such a monumental topic and it can go in so many ways. But I think the whole point of this podcast is just to bring awareness that the majority of us women don't want to be called or labeled cis women or even biological women. We're just women. And just if a transgender woman wants to just be called woman, absolutely, that's what you want to be called, we'll call you that. I've never had any problem. I've had many transgender women, never refer to them as the word transgender actually ever. It's she and her name is
she or he or
yes, and that. Yeah. And I'd never thought about it as any other than that. But now we're so asphyxiated on labeling everything that we needed to step back and relax and realize that, yes, we're aware you're fighting this humongous thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're with you. But on the path of us helping you, don't step on us as well. Because
yeah, they don't need to step on us to rise. We could stand together and rise. Yeah,
exactly.
And I think the finishing up, what I'd like to say to women, please, if you feel anger, allow yourself to feel it, but don't project it. Sit with it. Where is it coming from? What is it? And if you feel that you have been disrespected, just gently, lovingly explain that to the person that has disrespected you. Do not get into this projection of that anger, because we all know that anger, you end up playing ping pong with energy, and when it's ping pong with negative energy, it's hideous.
Yeah.
If you feel that you're being disrespected, then you have the right to say, excuse me, I'd like to stop you there. Please refer to me as woman, not cis woman. We have that right. We all have a right to be identified in the way that we see fit, each of us, no matter gender, no matter sexuality.
Yes, especially. And I think, actually, to end it up, I think May should be Women's Day the whole month, because we have Mother's Day as well coming up, and it starts in Latin America and Mexico. Mother's Day is the 10th. Today, actually, May 10th is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to everyone in Latin America, Mexico. And then we have in the US on I believe the 13th. And then in the UK is on I believe the 19th.
No, ours is March. That's Father's Day, the 19th.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know in Europe, in Spain, it was Sunday, just gone.
This Sunday.
But 19th of May is Father's Day.
Okay. And here in Sweden, it's on the 29th. So, and we just, as women, we need to just stand together and, rise together.
Yeah. We need to remember that we're all connected, all of us, male, female, transgender, whatever your identity, we are all connected as women. If you identify as a trans woman, then join our sisterhood. You are welcome, but please respect us, and we will respect you. Let's rise together. Let's bring about this balance.
Absolutely.
And that's it from me.
And me. And like always, don't forget to subscribe and like, comment, and share. And find us on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and please leave a review, as it helps us grow and bridge the gap between the sexes. If you have any topics you would like us to cover, shoot us an email. Until next time, go out and practice putting all your cards on the table with no judgment, expectations, and fear.